The crimson rings of Thalassia Prime cast an otherworldly glow across the marketplace of New Haven Station. Raven Thorn moved through the crowded bazaar like a shadow, his neural implants filtering through the cacophony of 1,000 different species bartering, arguing, and living their lives. He was hunting. The target's trail had led him across 3 systems to this backwater trading post. Most bounty hunters would have given up by now, but Raven hadn't earned his reputation by being like most hunters. His augmented eyes scanned the crowd, searching for the distinct biosignature of his quarry. A flash of silver skin caught his attention. There, moving between the stalls of exotic fruits and forbidden tech, a Lemurian. Their species was rare enough to draw notice, but this one moved with the practiced grace of someone trying not to be noticed. Raven's implants confirmed the match. Selira, designated healer of the Lemurian High Council, now branded traitor and thief. The bounty details scrolled across his vision. Target possesses classified biological capabilities. Approach with extreme caution. Required alive. Secondary target to be acquired intact. The secondary target was what made this job interesting, a half-human, half-Lemurian child. The first of her kind. Raven kept his distance, letting Selira think she'd maintained her cover. She moved purposefully through the market, gathering supplies with quick, efficient movements. A small hooded figure stayed close to her side, the child, Luna. Even beneath the hood, Raven could detect the faint shimmer of her silver-tinted skin. "Stop following us." The voice materialized directly in his mind, causing him to stumble slightly. The child was a telepath, stronger than the report suggested. Raven reinforced his mental barriers, technology and training working in concert to shield his thoughts. "Mother," Luna's voice carried across the marketplace, no longer in his mind. "He's here for us." Selira's reaction was instant. She grabbed her daughter's hand and ran, knocking over a cart of glowing fruits that scattered across the metal deck plates. The crowd parted in confusion, creating the perfect corridor for Raven to pursue. "Station security has been notified of unregistered telepathic activity in Block 7, the station AI announced overhead." Perfect. Now he had to deal with local law enforcement too. Raven sprinted after his quarry, his augmented legs easily matching their pace. Selira was leading them toward the lower levels, smart. The warren of maintenance tunnels and forgotten corridors would give them countless places to hide. But she didn't know what he knew. Station schematics were already downloaded into his tactical display, showing him every possible escape route. "I can help you," he projected his thoughts, knowing the child would hear them. "There are others coming. Worse than me." "Liar." Luna's mental reply was sharp with fear and anger. "You want to send us back." Raven rounded a corner just in time to see them disappear through a maintenance hatch. He pulled up the station's thermal imaging. Their heat signatures were clear against the cold metal of the station's skeleton. They were heading for the docking rings. A security drone buzzed past, its sensors scanning for unauthorized activity. Raven interfaced with it through his implants, feeding it false data. To its simple AI, this section of the station was completely empty. The chase led them deeper into the station's guts, where the artificial gravity fluctuated and the air grew thin. Raven's lungs automatically adjusted, cybernetic enhancements compensating for the changing environment. Up ahead, he heard Luna coughing. "Your daughter can't handle these conditions much longer," he called out. "Let me help you." "Help us?" Selira's voice echoed off the metal walls. "Like you helped the others? We know who you are, Raven Thorn. The hunter who never fails." Her words carried no fear, only determination. Raven slowed his pursuit, something about her tone triggering a memory he'd tried hard to forget. Another hunt, another parent protecting their child. "The corporation you're working for," Selira continued, "they don't want to study us. They want to weaponize us. My people's healing ability, Luna's telepathic powers, they'll torture us until they understand how to replicate them. Raven reached a junction where the maintenance tunnel split into 3 paths. His sensors showed their heat signatures had vanished, they must have found a way to mask them. "I don't ask questions," he replied, but doubt had crept into his voice. "That's how I stay alive." "Then why ask them now?" Luna's mental voice was gentler this time, probing. "You're different from the others they sent. You still have doubt. Compassion. Stay out of my head, kid." But the words lacked conviction. She was right, something about this hunt felt wrong. The bounty was too high, the corporation's interest too keen. A distant explosion rocked the station, causing the lights to flicker. Raven's tactical display lit up with multiple warnings. New ships were docking, corporate vessels, heavily armed. "They're here," Salira's voice was closer now, though he still couldn't see her. "The ones who really want us. You have a choice to make, Hunter. Help us, or help them turn us into weapons." Raven checked his weapons, mind racing through scenarios. The corporation would pay triple his bounty, but Luna's words echoed in his thoughts. He'd spent years building his reputation, becoming the hunter who never failed, never questioned. Another explosion, closer this time. The choice was about to be made for all of them. Beneath the surface, the maintenance tunnel erupted in a hail of plasma fire, forcing Raven to dive behind a coolant pipe. Corporate tactical teams poured in from both directions, their black armor absorbing the dim emergency lighting. "Terminate the hunter if necessary. Primary targets must be acquired intact," their orders echoed through his neural feed. He'd hacked their comm channel, but the information only confirmed what he already suspected: he'd become expendable. "Up here." Luna's mental voice guided him. Above, nearly invisible in the shadows, a service ladder led to an abandoned hydroponics level. Raven fired a spread of covering shots and launched himself upward, enhanced muscles carrying him 3 rungs at a time. He found Salira and Luna crouched behind rows of dead plants, the girl's silver-tinted skin glowing faintly in the darkness. Salira's healing abilities had masked their heat signatures, but they couldn't hide forever. "Why help us now?" Salira's luminous eyes studied him warily, her makeshift weapon trained on his chest. "Let's just say I don't appreciate being double-crossed." Raven checked his tactical display. "They've locked down all conventional escape routes. Emergency protocols have sealed the docking rings." Luna touched a withered vine, and suddenly the dead plant stirred, green spreading from her fingers. "The station's still alive, just sleeping. I can feel it." "Luna has a unique connection to organic systems," Salira explained, noting Raven's surprise. "It's why they want her. Not just for her telepathy, but for her ability to manipulate life itself." The corporate teams were spreading out, methodically searching each level. Raven's implants calculated their search pattern, they had minutes at most. "There's another way out," he said, pulling up the station's original schematics. "Maintenance pod launchers, used for external repairs. They're small, barely life support, but they'll get us to my ship if we can reach them." "Us?" Salira's weapon lowered slightly. "I protect my investments." Raven managed a grim smile. "Right now, staying alive is a mutual investment." Luna's small hand slipped into his, and images flooded his mind, fragments of their escape from the Lemurian homeworld, other hunters who'd tried to capture them, experiments performed on her people. The corporation's true plans. "They want to engineer a plague," Luna whispered. "Use Mother's healing powers in reverse. Make something that can't be cured." The gravity shifted as the station's systems registered multiple hull breaches. The corporate teams were cutting their way in through the exterior. Time had run out. "The pod launchers are 3 levels down," Raven said, already moving. "Stay close and dash." A burst of energy seared through the hydroponics bay, turning dead plants to ash. Through the smoke, armored figures advanced with military precision. "Run!" Raven pushed Luna towards Selira, drawing both his weapons. "I'll hold them." But Selira was already moving, her silver skin blazing with internal light. She pressed her hand to the station's wall, and suddenly the dead hydroponics systems surged to life. Vines erupted from their containers, entangling the corporate troops. Luna's power joined her mother's, accelerating the growth until a living barrier separated them from their pursuers. "That won't hold them long," Selira grabbed her daughter's hand. "Lead the way, Hunter." Breaking point. They reached the pod launcher as the station's artificial gravity began to fail. Emergency systems screamed warnings of catastrophic damage. The corporate teams were willing to destroy the entire station to capture their prizes. "Only 2 pods, Raven noted, examining the launch tubes. "And the second one's damaged." "We can't leave you," Luna protested, but Selira was already opening the first pod's hatch. "He's right, Luna. We have to dash." The wall beside them exploded. Through the breach stepped a figure that made even Raven step back, over 8 feet of cybernetic enhancement and cruel purpose. The corporation's elite hunter. "Handler," Raven acknowledged his former mentor. "You disappoint me, Thorn." The handler's augmented voice carried no emotion. "You were my finest student. Now you throw everything away for what? Conscience? Maybe I finally learned to ask questions." Raven positioned himself between the handler and his companions. The handler's response was a burst of plasma fire that would have killed a normal human. But Raven wasn't normal. His enhanced reflexes let him dive and roll, returning fire from behind a launch console. "Luna, get in the pod." Selira's voice carried over the firefight. "Not without you." The handler advanced methodically, each shot destroying another piece of Raven's cover. "The corporation sends its regards, traitor." A massive explosion rocked the station. Warning klaxons blared, total structural failure imminent. They had minutes before the entire section decompressed. Raven saw the handler's next shot coming but couldn't move fast enough. The plasma burst caught him in the side, burning through armor and synthetic flesh. He fell, systems screaming damage warnings across his vision. Then Selira was there, her silver hands pressing against his wound. Incredible cold spread from her touch, followed by relief as flesh and circuits knit themselves back together. "Why?" he gasped. "Because Luna was right about you." Selira helped him up. "Now run." She spun toward the handler, her entire body blazing with silver fire. The healing energy that could mend any wound could also, they discovered, be used as a weapon. The handler's cybernetics sparked and failed as Selira's power washed over him, organic and synthetic systems alike shutting down. But the effort cost her. Selira stumbled, her light dimming. "I can't maintain it." The handler was already recovering, systems rebooting. Luna screamed as he grabbed her mother, cybernetic fingers digging into silver flesh. Raven didn't hesitate. He charged, enhanced strength meeting enhanced strength. They crashed into the launch controls, warning lights flashing red as emergency protocols activated. "Pod launch initiated," the station AI announced. "Clearing bay in 10 seconds. Mother." Luna fought against the pod's closing hatch. Selira met her daughter's eyes one last time. "Live, my star. Live and grow strong." The pod ejected just as the station's hull finally gave way. Explosive decompression turned the launch bay into chaos. Raven glimpsed Luna's pod streaking toward his ship, its autopilot already activated. Then there was only the void, the handler's grip, and Selira's fading light as they were pulled into space. His last conscious thought was a hope that his ship's AI would understand its new priority, protecting the child who carried both humanity's greatest threat and its possible salvation. The Awakening. Space was silent, but Luna's scream echoed through every neural frequency. Her power, amplified by terror and loss, reached across the void. Every piece of organic technology on the station responded, hydroponic systems burst to life, bioengineered hull plates pulsed, and dormant emergency systems awakened. Inside Raven's ship, Luna collapsed against the pilot's seat, tears floating in the zero gravity. The ship's AI, following its new protocols, plotted an escape course while monitoring her vital signs. "Mother," she whispered, pressing her hand against the view screen. The station hung in space like a wounded animal, its structure compromised but not dead. Never dead, not while organic systems still pulsed within its metal bones. Through her connection to the station's living systems, Luna felt everything. She felt the corporate troops advancing through failing corridors. She felt her mother's fading life force, still bound to the handler's iron grip. And she felt Raven, his enhanced systems flickering between life and death as the vacuum of space claimed him. Something broke inside her. The power she'd always held back, afraid of its potential, suddenly roared free. Silver light erupted from her skin, identical to her mother's but somehow more. This wasn't just the power to heal or harm, this was the power to transform. The station's organic components responded to her call. Bioengineered panels turned to living tissue, spreading like a silver infection through metal and circuits. Emergency systems evolved in seconds, developing new functions their designers never intended. The handler's cybernetics screamed warnings as organic material invaded his systems. His grip on Solyra loosened as his own enhancements began to transform, becoming something neither fully mechanical nor fully alive. Raven, drifting at the edge of consciousness, felt it too. His implants, designed to resist any form of hacking or control, surrendered to Luna's power. But instead of fighting it, he understood. This was what the corporation had feared, not just the power to heal or destroy, but the power to change the very nature of life itself. Through their now shared connection, he heard Luna's voice, "I can save you both. But I need your help." Redemption's price. The corporation's flagship emerged from hyperspace above the station, its weapons already targeting Raven's small ship. But they hesitated, their sensors struggling to understand what the station had become. Where there had been metal and machinery, there was now a hybrid of technology and living tissue. The station had transformed into something new, its systems evolved beyond their original purpose. And at its heart, a silver light pulsed like a newborn star. Luna stood in Raven's ship, no longer a frightened child but something more. Her power had matured in moments, driven by desperate need and awakened potential. Through her connection to the station's transformed systems, she reached for her mother and her unlikely protector. Solyra's healing light joined with her daughter's power, their combined energy weaving through the station's new organic networks. The handler fought against the change, his military-grade cybernetics resisting the transformation. But Raven understood what needed to be done. He opened himself fully to Luna's power, allowing his enhanced systems to evolve. Pain became enlightenment as organic and synthetic merged in ways he'd never imagined possible. This was true evolution, not the corporation's crude attempts at weaponizing life, but the natural progression of both organic and artificial life finding harmony. The handler's resistance shattered as Raven's transformed systems interfaced with his own. In that moment of connection, both hunters shared a vision of the future, one where the boundaries between human, alien, and machine blurred into something greater than their parts. "The corporation will never stop," the handler warned, his mechanical voice softening as organic tissue threaded through his vocal systems. "They'll burn worlds to prevent this change. Let them try." Luna's voice carried both challenge and promise. "Life finds a way. It always has." The corporation's flagship opened fire, but their weapons found no purchase against the station's evolved defenses. Living metal absorbed and transformed their energy, growing stronger with each attack. Selira reached for her daughter through their shared connection. You understand now, why our people kept this power hidden. Why we chose to heal rather than transform. We don't have to choose, Luna replied. We can be both. We can help others find their own path to evolution. Raven, his consciousness expanded through his transformed implants, saw the truth of her words. The corporation had sought weapons, but they'd discovered something far more powerful, the next step in evolution, guided by compassion rather than conquest. The handler made his choice. His transformed systems synchronized with the station's network, adding his vast combat experience to their shared consciousness. The corporation's troops, their own cybernetic enhancements responding to the call of evolution, began to change. As the flagship retreated, carrying warning of what they'd witnessed, Raven looked at his companions through new eyes. Selira's silver skin now matched his own transformed flesh. Luna stood between them, a bridge between what was and what could be. They'll return with bigger weapons, he said. Try to sterilize this entire sector. Good. Luna smiled, and in that expression he saw both the child she had been and the force of change she had become. That means we'll have more life to transform, more minds to awaken. The station, now more alive than artificial, pulsed with possibility. Throughout its transformed corridors, former corporate troops awakened to their new existence. The revolution wouldn't be fought with weapons, but with the offer of evolution itself. Raven, once a hunter who never questioned his purpose, now embraced a new role, protector not of investments, but of potential. As Luna's ship docked with the living station, he understood that his greatest hunt had led him not to a capture, but to liberation. The corporation had wanted weapons. Instead, they had catalyzed the next step in cosmic evolution. And as their ship disappeared into hyperspace, carrying warnings no one would believe until it was too late, Luna's light pulsed like a beacon, calling to others who dreamed of transformation. The hunt was over. The awakening had begun.